Okay, I think we're ready to start. Okay, Magali? Yes, let's start. Okay, hello everybody all around the globe. Welcome to this Q&A webinar organized by Milkymap. My name is Danny Peters. I'm co-founder of Milkymap. And together with host Magali, I'm really delighted to have you here with us today. In this hour, we will cover three things. One, a short introduction of the Milkymap Galaxy platform, our SaaS solution for customer journey management. Two, a telco case with examples how to measure, analyze, and improve a customer journey. And three, a Q&A round where you have the chance to ask your questions and maybe share your thoughts with us. The webinar is recorded, so you can share it afterwards with your colleagues. And of course, we will send you the link after this webinar. And during the webinar, you can use the Q&A section in Zoom to post your questions. We will answer as much as we can. Otherwise, we will send you the answers on those questions after the webinar as well. Over the last 10 years, we developed and implemented several methodologies regarding customer experience management. And 5 years ago, as Milkymap, we started to build the Milkymap Galaxy SaaS platform for enterprises. And that is not only to visualize customer journey maps, but more importantly, to manage and to improve them. And it's our mission to make organizations more customer-centric and equip them to really improve the customer experience of the end customer. And with our platform, we aim for control and standardization on a central level on one hand, and on the other hand, to give freedom on a local level with journey owners in operational departments. And a couple of years ago, we saw that organizations are not having one or two journeys only, but dozens of journeys. And with different brands, different products, different segments, and even countries, it is sometimes, or most of the times, hard to manage and compare all those journeys. And therefore, classification and data modeling are important when you start with your first journey map and build from there. And the Milkymap CX lifecycle model is that unique modeling of the complete lifecycle of customers and connect data points to journeys into several dashboards. And you can steer from a strategic level and dive into the touch points to measure and improve on a more operational level. Magali will show you later in this webinar. And with customers like Roche, Bosch Siemens, Vattenfall, and APG, we do now what we had in mind in 2017, delivering a scalable platform to support scalable journey management, as we call it. And we are proud of these customers, and we thank them for the partnership over the years. And some of them are even in the webinar, which is great, of course. And also the news from the last few days, Milkymap is listed by Forrester in their Customer Journey Mapping Wave report as one of the 12 leading platforms published this month. We cannot, of course, be more proud of this achievement. So please enjoy this webinar. Feel free to ask questions and let us know if you want to explore our Galaxy. If you're not a user yet on the platform, a trial account is for free, of course. Magali, I hand it over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Danny. So I will be walking you through the platform demo first. So I'll be going through a few features within the platform. First, to explain the structure, the way we organize the platform, and the way it can help you organize your customer experience. And from there, as Danny already mentioned, I'll be moving into a case on how to improve a particular journey or how we like to implement certain features to do so. And of course, any questions you have about anything that I'm explaining, or maybe everything I'm not explaining, feel free to post those in the Q&A section, because we will get to those later. Right. Then I will now share my screen with all of you so you can all see it. Hope that works now. Great. So Once you enter the Galaxy platform, you will arrive at this page or this location because you will arrive with your customer journey maps first. That is usually the place from which all of our customers start their journey within the Galaxy platform, is with their customer journey maps. You can see a few different things here currently. You can see that there are different tabs here at the top. So the My Milkymap section is actually meant for drafts. So those are any Milkymaps I haven't published yet, and I don't want to share yet with my colleagues or the rest of the organization. And the Our Milkymap section contains all of the Milkymaps that have been published in this environment. As Denny already mentioned, for larger organizations or organizations that are becoming more advanced in customer experience and customer journey mapping, this can be dozens of maps. We even have a few clients that now have over 130 maps currently within the platform. Because those 130 are usually not all as relevant for an individual user, we have created the option to create custom views. You see that the page I entered my Milkymap in today has a filter active. So currently today in this demo, I only want to focus on the Milkymaps that are connected to a certain lifecycle model, which is why I used this filter to create a custom view. With this custom view, I see all of the Milkymaps that are connected currently, but also anytime anyone in the account publishes a Milkymap that is connected to this filter, it will automatically show up here as well. So any filters that are active, any new Milkymaps that connect to those criteria will automatically be visible as well. So that's a bit of basic navigation for you to get started within the platform if you're not a user yet. And even if you are a user, I know that many of you haven't explored the custom view filter yet to its fullest. So maybe a good brief introduction to get started with that topic. All right. Then you see a few different things here as well. You see a few icons that are orange, and you see one that is green, for example. The difference between an orange icon and a green icon is the status of that particular map. Within Milkymap, we currently have two. A map is either inactive, which is orange, or active, which is green. An active map means that for now, at least, I want to signal to the rest of the account and all of the users in it that it is finished, or that I'm not currently planning to make any edits to it anymore. One of the main reasons our clients would do so, and the reason we have come up with this feature, is because a lot of our organizations work in sprints or in quarters, or they divide their work into certain periods, obviously, to make it easier. And by using the active feature and by signaling that your map is currently finished, you can also show the rest of the organization that for this sprint, for example, or for this quarter, this is done, or you have implemented all of the insights, you have planned all of the improvements that you would like to make to it. So it really helps collaboration to do so. Another thing you can see is that one of the icons is basically three people together, and another one of the icons is this crown icon. The crown icon means that you are working with a parent Milkymap, and under a parent Milkymap, you can have one or multiple child Milkymaps. A parent Milkymap can best be explained as a master file. So it is a file containing information that will then be inherited by the child Milkymap. Within the example, I will go into this a little bit further, but the connection basically means that a child Milkymap can be a more specific version or a more in-depth scenario of a particular parent, and that all of the information from the parent will constantly be updated within the child, which is what we mean by inherited. All right. In order to explain the structure of a Milkymap to you further, I would like to go through an example, of course. So I'm currently in the parent Milkymap, so the master file for this particular scenario. And this is about first phone usage. At the top here, you have some information about the Milkymap. So you see the language, the status that I already explained to you before. And you also see to which lifecycle model this particular map is connected, which is what I use to filter and find the right maps for me to work with today. You also have the title and a short description of the Milkymap. You can add as much information here as you like, or in this case, because it's a parent map, you might want to leave this slightly more empty and go into more detail once you're actually working on the child Milkymaps, so the more specific scenarios in this case. Then at the top of the Milkymap, we have something we call widgets. A widget contains information that has to do with the overall Milkymap. So any information that you add here, and we have a few different types within our platform that you can add, all of the information here has to do with the overall journey. So the information here, the emotions I've used, or the quotes that are here, they provide me with an overview of what this journey is like overall. Then if I go further down and I go into more detail for this particular map, you see that there are some episodes. An episode can be best compared to a chapter in a book. So those are the main steps within a storyline that a customer goes through in this case. We usually recommend using between 5 and 7 because it's a great sweet spot in our experience to still have a certain level of detail you can add, but to also ensure that people have a clear overview of what's happening in a journey. Then within all of these chapters or episodes, you have particular actions that a customer wants to complete, and we call those touch points. A touch point consists of multiple pieces of information. So I can show you an example. So first you have a touch point title, which has to do with the action that the user wants to complete in this case. We usually like to add a job that they're trying to accomplish or a reason why they would be interested in completing a certain action. So in this case, they want to see if the number transfer worked, which is really helpful context for also analyzing this particular touch point and seeing how it's doing. Because if a customer is enabled to complete this particular job that they're trying to accomplish, or to be connected to the reason that they started this action in the first place, then it might not be the most positive experience for them. So it's always good to keep that in mind as context for customer journey mapping. Then you can also see here that a contact reason has been selected in connection to the lifecycle model. I will go into that a bit more in depth later. But it really helps to structure your customer journeys with the lifecycle model. If you're connecting all of these touch points, it will provide you with a very clear overview. Then you also have a channel that you can select. So in this case, it's something that is done face-to-face or in real life. So they're not using any digital channels or anything like that, because it's just the customer connecting with their phone. You also have the opportunity to create sub-channels. For example, if you have multiple chat options, so through multiple different channels, you can create sub-channels for those. So you could implement Facebook chat, for example, or a chatbot as a sub-channel of a chat functionality. Really depends on what your organization likes and how you structure measurements, for example. Then you also see these two indicators. Those are custom lists that you can use within the platform. We have chosen today to use impact on customer and the importance to the organization, but you're completely free to be as creative as you like with those, which will also help you identify not only from this view, so a more detailed view, but also from a more general overview. You can see these indicators, and it can, for example, help you prioritize particular touch points in a journey, or help you identify moments that are more or less important to the customer in this case. So those are the levels in a customer journey, which I'll quickly go over again. So at the top, you have the widgets, which contain information that have to do with the overall journey. Then you have your episodes, which divide your journey into columns. And beneath all of those columns, you can actually add more information. So all of the touch points that are in here, those are connected to that particular episode. And then once you go into further detail, or you want to have even more level of detail within that particular customer journey, you can go into your touch points and add that same type of information again. So this particular KPI has to do with this touch point. If I were to add a KPI at the episode level, it would be a measurement for that particular episode. You can add all of these information types. As I mentioned, they are freely available at all levels throughout the platform for you to be as creative with visualizing your customer story as you like. And then I would like to go into the example of the lifecycle model to show you how to structure particular journeys, or how to remain, keep an oversight when creating a lot of customer journeys, which we know can be difficult for organizations sometimes. So currently today, I want to use the example of the telco. So I will press this lifecycle model in order to show you. Yes. So you see that there are 3 levels within the lifecycle model. The top level contains stages. So those are the main steps a customer goes through in their lifecycle, and those are divided into phases. Phases can be viewed as certain themes or certain topics that are discussed within that particular stage. And all of those topics contain a number of contact reasons. Contact reasons are the way that a touch point is connected to this lifecycle model. So the connection between those 2 items in the platform is what helps you structure your customer experience. A contact reason is, as the name already suggests, a reason for a customer to be in contact with a particular organization at a particular time, usually also in context of a journey with a particular goal in mind. So if I, for example, press I become a customer, you will see that I automatically select all of the levels that are below it and all of the content that I've just selected. You can view all of the connected journey maps that show up. So all of the journey maps that are here are connected to the lifecycle model because the touch points have been linked to these contact reasons. If I hover over any of these journeys, you will see in green all of the connected elements of the lifecycle model light up. So you will see all of the contact reasons that are used within that particular journey map. You will see those in your lifecycle model, which can help you identify which parts of the lifecycle model you want to work on, or where, for example, you would need more insights to gain a full overview of your customer lifecycle. So you can go through that this way. The creation of a lifecycle model can really help a lot of organizations structure your journey maps and help you keep insights in a clear overview, and will also help you discuss it within the organization, because it's easier to monitor within these 3 levels than having 120 journey maps that you then need to connect the dots of yourself. All right. Then I want to go into a little example of how to improve a particular customer journey or how to manage it. Because having a visualization of a customer journey is one thing, having a lot of visualizations of customer journeys and structuring them is another thing. But of course, customer experience at the heart means that you're trying to add value and you're trying to be the best you can be for your customers, obviously. In order to do that, it's necessary to monitor and improve your journeys over time. So the parent-child connection that I mentioned earlier means that in this case, I have a master file, which contains more generic information about first phone usage, but I also have a more specific scenario that I've created, in this case for a persona. What we often see organizations use the parent-child hierarchy for is either for more specific things like personas, for example, or it can be a local or regional version of a particular map. It can even have to do with a slightly different dimension that is being used. So you can use the connection any way you want, but usually the child Milkymap contains more detailed information regarding a particular scenario or topic. In this case, a particular persona. So you can also see that here at the top of the Milkymap that I've added persona Debbie, which is what the map is about, as the main character or main focus of this particular map, which also means you can filter based on this persona and find it in other locations throughout the journey map. And then I want to go into the example of how to actually improve and monitor this journey. So one way I like to do it is to add any information that is persona specific in this case. So I've added a touch point, which is specific to this persona. Debbie, in this case, is an innovator. She likes to try out new technology. She's quite tech savvy. She can be quite critical sometimes. So for her, online touch points are very important, which is also why you can go more in depth on any of her touch points or any touch points that are particularly important to her. Another way to show information that is particularly important for this persona, or that is particularly nice to mention when looking into the experience that she's having with this particular customer journey, is to add moments of truth. Moments of truth is one of the content types that's available within the platform. And in this case, I've added 2 that are specific to her as a persona. So one of the main issues for her would be if her device has arrived, but her SIM card hasn't. So meaning that her mobile phone is there, but she can't start using it because her new SIM card hasn't arrived yet. And you can actually connect insights to any of these moments of truth as supporting evidence. So in this case, research suggests that this person wants to use her phone as soon as it arrives. And therefore, I've created this moment of truth to help me structure that and to help support that. Also, another example that the process needs to be quick and smooth, which is something that particularly shows up when she wants to order and arrange all of the paperwork for her new device. And you can also add supporting evidence for that moment of truth. And I can add Debbie to it as a persona because this is specific to how she is experiencing this particular customer journey. For example, she wants to complete everything online because it's quicker and easier for her. And then I can look into this touch point, into this insight, and I can find all of the information there, which helps as supporting evidence for this moment of truth in the journey. Another one here is supporting evidence that all of the digital confirmations need to be available within the My environment or in her account. And that is then supported again by a fact, which was a My environment research that has been completed. So this way you actually have 3 levels. The top level would be a moment of truth, which is any of the moments that are deciding factors within a particular customer experience or a particular journey. You can support those with insights, and then within the platform, you can always add facts to add any research, any data that has been analyzed, anything like this, which will help you support why this insight is so important. So in this case, this is also here to help us identify the important moments. So any of the topics that really need to work in order to make this experience the best it can be. And they are supported by evidence, which can come in many shapes and forms, really depending on how your organization works and what kind of people are involved in journey mapping as well. If I have that laid out, so I know where to focus and why to focus on particular moments, I usually also have the way that you can improve this particular experience, which is why I want to create improvements. So I want to make this actionable. I want to actually change the moments in the journey that might not be as positive as they can be, or I want to highlight moments that are very positive. So in order to do that, I have created an improvement. So I've created a project that people can work on and that I can divide into actionable tasks. In this case, you want to improve the document section in the My environment. You can see a few different things here that I've rated it as quite important, that it's currently in progress. And another thing I've done is I've connected it to my team's Jira. So you see here that we work with a code, for example, for this particular Jira project, and that's the status is on backlog, but I'm hoping that will change soon because I want it to be in progress. And you can always click on View More to go into the Jira project if you have access to it, which will really help different teams communicate more efficiently, because we can imagine that not every team will use Milkymap as often, and that, for example, development teams or other teams might still want to use Jira as their way of communicating. But this ensures that teams don't have to do double work or don't have to constantly check in with each other in order to view the status of a particular project or a particular task. So then after you have set up the important moments in a journey, why you need to focus on them, how you can improve them, and what you want to do to improve them, there's one final step that I would always suggest in order to ensure that you're really monitoring and enhancing this particular experience to the best of your abilities. And that is to add a baseline measurement and then hopefully a very positive follow-up measurement as well. So in this case, I've added a customer satisfaction score as a baseline measurement. So you see that we are a little bit below target here currently for this particular step or for this particular episode. And then you have the opportunity to add another lane with KPIs to then have a follow-up measurement there. So once I've completed this task and once a team has worked on this particular improvement, you can actually measure again to see if it has positively affected the customer experience. You can also add all of this content or complete this process at more detailed levels within a Milkymap as well. So now for the overview today, I have added it to an episode. You can also actually add it, this full process, so with all of these steps, to a touch point, for example. So in here, in this touch point, you can see that I've added a similar improvement and that I'm already measuring the NPS for this second quarter of this year. And then you can start working from there again. So this process can be repeated at any level within a Milkymap to really help you monitor and structure the way you're trying to enhance this experience. Another way or another helpful feature that can really help organizations improve their customer experience is our compare functionality. So using the compare feature, I can actually select a number of Milkymaps to look into. I can show you an example of that. For example, these two journeys, I want to compare those two to see how they are doing. So you see an overview of the information that's there, of the dimensions that are being included within this journey. So you can also filter on these dimensions first and then make the selection for your comparison. So you have the same overview, for example. And then you also see that there are scores for me to compare. So there are an NPS that I can compare how they are doing, or a customer effort score that I can compare. And you can also go through all of the episodes or steps within that particular journey. If I then extend any of these episodes, all of the moments of truth that have been added there will also be visible for me. So this can also help organizations compare customer journey maps. Another way that you can include this functionality in your improvement process is by creating one current state customer journey map and one future state customer journey map. So you will go through the same scenario or a similar scenario, for example, but you will compare the customer experience as it is currently with the ideal experience that you're hoping to create based on all of the insights that you've gathered from your customers. So by comparing those two, you can also identify what is still different in those two experiences and how you can achieve that. Once you have that figured out, you can use the improvement tool again to really start structuring that and to make those actionable plans and divide them amongst your team within the platform. And one last feature, which is not yet available for everyone, but I can give you a sneak preview of it today, is our dashboard, which is based on the lifecycle model that I've showed you earlier, but it can really help you identify the touch points that need work. So you see here that I have the lifecycle model again. In this case, when you create a dashboard, you choose either a delta percentage or a delta number. So you're either choosing how far you want the actual score to be removed from the target in a percentage, or you're choosing an actual number that it will be removed from your target. By identifying this, some of the touch points will light up, as you see here, with those little exclamation marks. So if I press any of these exclamation marks, in this case, this one, you will see all of the touch points that are connected to that particular contact reason. And you will also know that there are some touch points here, which are removed from the target based on the delta that I indicated earlier. So this is the touch point I've created. This is the rule I've given it for me to identify what needs work and what doesn't. And you can create as many dashboards as you like to help you identify the touch points that need work. And you can also compare different scores across this. So for example, I want to see if there are any of these NPS scores that also have a customer effort score that isn't positive, for example, because this would mean that this is one of the touch points that I want to focus on, for example, on improving. And this will really help you identify the touch points and identify the parts of the customer journey that will need work. So that is our dashboard to help with the management of customer journeys and the improvement process. And then I have one more thing I would like to show you today in today's demo, and that is the export feature. So we can imagine that after you have all of these insights and after you've made them actionable, after you've started all of these projects, you would still need buy-in, you would still need to explain it to many other people within the organization, and you would like to keep it top of mind, for example, which is why we think this is a helpful feature to go through with you again. So the export feature is here at the top of the Milkymap. You can press it here, and there are 4 types of export that are available within the platform. You first have a Milkymap file, which is something that our clients often use as a way of version management, for example, or sometimes customers want to ensure that they have a backup file of what a particular Milkymap looked like in the beginning. So that's why they would, for example, download this. This file can then be uploaded to the platform again for you to view, but it's basically a way of containing a certain version outside of the platform. It cannot be opened by any other systems than Milkymap. So it's just for that reason that our clients use it occasionally. Then we have an Excel file. So a lot of the information from the Milkymap will be exported as text in this case. So you have a very clear overview of the touch points. You receive a list of all of the touch points that are available, which channel they are connected to, what contact reason they are connected to. And one of the main ways I would use this particular export is by having it in a workshop, for example, and providing people with a full overview of touch points that they can go through and evaluate whether they need to be improved or whether they would change anything, whether the flow makes sense to them, those sorts of things. So that's what I would usually use the export for. It can also be used for reporting, for example. So if you find it helpful to have a full list of all of the touch points that are available within a particular journey, then this is definitely the way to go. The other 2 are the ones I use most personally, and that I also see a lot of our organizations use. And those are more visual. So those are the ones that actually look like the Milkymaps you've structured within the platform. And I often use those to, for example, create PowerPoint slides if I want to present a particular journey to a particular group of people, or if I want to provide somebody with a full overview of the journey. That's when I would use those in this case. So below the type that you're selecting, you can also see a few different things. You can first select a range. So I can either, by default, the whole journey is selected, but I can also choose to exclude certain parts of the journey. So for example, I can choose to either only add this episode or to not add this episode, or I can remove particular touch points from this journey, which will really help me create the most specific overview of what I'm trying to present or what I'm trying to communicate with the person that will receive this export. And then within all of these levels, you can also select whether you want all of the content to be added and to be represented in the story that you're providing, or if you just want to focus on particular types of content. So an export could also be used to provide an overview of all KPIs used in the journey and nothing else. Or you can tell the complete story of your journey map as it is in the platform. It's really up to you how you want to use it and what you're trying to communicate with the person receiving this content. All right, so for me, that was the short case of how to improve a telco journey. I've walked you through some of the platform structure, and I've shown you the export feature, which can help you with stakeholder engagement. And can also help you communicate with other partners, for example, outside of your organization, anything like that. It will basically help you provide an overview of the journey without having to be in the platform all of the time. So then, Danny, then my question to you is, what kind of questions have we received, and how can we go into those?
Quite some questions. One of them was asked by Carlos in the public environment, so let's start with that one. Mm-hmm. Carlos asked, which types of KPIs are possible to connect or to add to the platform?
Great question. So within the platform, you can add as many KPIs as you like as an organization. I can show you how that process works. So you either can create a My KPI, which can be used by an individual user in all of the locations they have editing rights to. So it's less of a public used KPI, or if you're an admin, you can create an R KPI, which signals that it's a verified item that is used throughout your organization. So the admins have special powers to create content that can be used all throughout the platform and can be used by anyone, unlimited. You can create an unlimited amount of KPIs within the Milkymap platform. You can just select the name of the KPI, add a question, for example. So we know that sometimes different teams or different parts of larger organizations use different research questions for KPIs. You can be as specific as you like and add those here. You can add a score range or range of scores here. So for an NPS, this would always be -100 to 100. For a customer effort score, the most used one is to use 1 to 5 or 0 to 5, for example. But you have all flexibility to do that as you like. And you can add a target, which can either be fixed or flexible. A flexible target means that once a person adds it to a particular location within Milkymap, they can then decide what the target is for that particular context. So if an NPS for an overall journey would be 50, for example, but a particular touch point has a slightly lower target, like 30, then you would keep the target flexible, for example, or you would indicate a different type of NPS that they can use for that particular purpose. But unlimited amount of KPIs that you can add really depends on what your organization likes to use and how much you would like to control which KPIs are being used in the organization as well.
Okay, thank you. And another question is if it's possible to integrate with feedback tools. So let me take that one.
Yes.
So what Magali just showed was the manual KPI. So you add that KPI by yourself and do the definition of that KPI in the platform. So that's one way of using KPIs in Milkymap. The other way is using the connected KPI, which was one of the widgets that's also available. And the connected KPI is the integration with feedback platforms outside of Milkymap. So Milkymap has an API server, and through an API we can communicate with other platforms and receive processed data, so processed numbers and scores from other platforms. We have Serverall now set up in the platform, and if there's an API on the other side, on the feedback platform, we can set up that communication in a secure way, so we can receive that data, and then it's visual on the location where you add this connected KPI, for instance, on a journey level or on a touchpoint level, and of course, the measurement that you do in your feedback platform should also be on that journey, on that touchpoint level. So that setup is done once, and then the connected KPI makes sure that the data is up to date all the time. That's the integration with the feedback tools. The third question is, how many personas can we have in one journey map?
I'm gonna kind of repeat myself with this answer. That is also unlimited. It really depends on your organization's way of customer journey mapping. If you have a journey and it's relevant for all personas used in your organization, you can add them all. So for example, in this particular account, we have a few personas set up, 5 in this case. I can add all 5 if I want. If the journey is more specific and contains information like touch points or moments of truth that are relevant for one of these personas, then I would suggest adding one, or to, for example, link the persona to that particular moment of truth, like I've done here. This is very specific for Debbie in this case. So if I want to use multiple personas in one journey, I can still connect the content that is relevant for maybe only one of those in this kind of way, because those personas can be added to different content types as well. But it's also unlimited. So yeah, you have all freedom to do whatever you like to visualize the experience as detailed as possible.
Thank you. And through the Q&A section, we got a question about the roles that are available in the platform. So you were talking about an admin with superpowers and users, but can you explain a little bit about the roles that we have?
Yes, so we have 3 roles, and I will go from least superpowers to most superpowers. So a viewer has the option to go into the account and to view all customer journey maps. They can't, however, make edits to any of the maps. So they are not contributors. They are really there to observe and monitor. That doesn't mean that they're not included in working on the customer experience in any way. They're just not included in mapping it or making those edits. They can still, however, provide feedback, of course, as they're able to view all of the content in the account. For them, a customer journey map will look something like this, like the presentation mode, which I can show you. So you see that all of the editing options I had before, so all of the buttons with the ads and etc., those have now disappeared. So this is what a viewer could be seeing when they're viewing this particular customer journey map. Then a user does have the option to make edits and to really change things within a particular journey map. They can create their own maps from scratch, or they can be added as co-owners to maps. Unlimited editing, actually, but they do need to receive access. So either from the person that primarily owns the map, which in this case is me, or in this case, Danny, for example, then you would be needed to add it. You would need to be added as a co-owner, or you can create your own maps, and then you also have full editing rights. So that is what a user would be. And then you have admins. Admins, yeah, as Danny mentioned, they have superpowers. So they have some more almost administrative things that they can take care of, like user management, or they can view the type of subscription that your organization had, those kinds of things. But they're also in charge of a lot of the governance within the account. So they have the option to change a lot of settings. So For the parent-child, for example, there are some configuration settings that they can be involved in and they can change. They have the option to create our content, so content that is viewed as verified by the organization that you want everybody to use throughout the platform. They're also in charge of, for example, setting up the channels or choosing what channels are used, what kind of taxonomy is in there. So an admin definitely has most of the fun within the platform, but it also requires most knowledge in order to really complete that task well. That's a very brief overview of the roles.
And in the near future, we will also work with participants who are not able to create new journey maps, but can be invited to add or change the content in the journey map as experts. So they will participate. So that's something that we're working on. A request from our customers is to have a role in the platform that is not a user, so not allowed to create journey maps themselves, but as an expert, being able in the map to add and change the content. Yeah. Okay, very good. One short question. You were talking about the parent-child, but this is a question of one of our customers. They don't have that. You were saying that it needs to be turned on the same as the dashboard. So can you explain that a little bit?
So some of the functionalities in the platform can be switched on or off by our super admin, so they can be controlled, and you can request to turn those on and to have those functionalities there. It's a conscious choice for us to not have them available for all of our users right away, because they usually require some more in-depth discussions before starting with them, because they can really impact your account and your way of working quite significantly. But you can always request to turn them on with us, so you can start using them. But once you do so, you're very welcome to start using it, and I would love to help you set it up or to help you with some of those questions.
And maybe good to mention that it's possible for current customers to request that through the support portal in the platform with the Get Help button on the right down corner. Okay, here, so that's, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, here in the Get Help, you can always send in any incidents or if you're running into any problems, or you can also raise questions through the platform, which will end up with our team, and we can help you sort them out then.
And let me see what other questions we have. Yeah, the services we deliver. Let me take that one. So there's a question in next to the licenses. What other services is Milkymap providing? So in our experience over the last years, what we do with implementing the platform, because like Magali said, it's not only giving somebody access to the account and they can start using Milkymap and just start mapping. What we created was a platform where, from an admin, from a central perspective, you set up definitions and lists, and then the users can use that. So what we always do with implementing the platform in the first phase, 2 to 3 months, we help setting up the platform, choosing those definitions and those lists. And next to that, also do some onboarding sessions, training, etc., to get the admins and the users really up and running, to get them into the platform, etc. For instance, creating a way of working document or creating templates. So that's one element that we do with the implementation, add it to the license structure. The other service is the support contract. Of course, it's a software platform, so it's possible to have SLAs, service level agreements with us as an organization to get support with certain service levels, and we report on those service levels. And what else good to mention? Yeah, we have quite a set of consultancy options, like getting training, custom training, or training in our methodology, or creating that lifecycle model with you. So that's like the business consultancy that we can deliver. That's always custom-made proposals to add that on the package to the needs of the organizations that you have. So some organizations are already a little bit further in the process and just need the licenses, and for instance the implementation, and others need some more help in the first 6 to 12 months to get the journey management really implemented. So we also have our consultancy part with supporting organizations getting that implemented. Okay. I think those are, yeah, there's a security and safety question. How secure is the platform? Let me explain a little bit about the technical part. Milkymap is hosted with Amazon. The data is in Frankfurt. We are compliant with all the regulations and all the GDPR regulations, of course, and also with Amazon. They are SOC SOC2 certified, so that means that it's secure. We work with enterprises, so of course we do all the assessments upfront before we start using the platform, and it's possible to get to have the data stored in a different location. So if that's a necessity, we are flexible enough on the background to have your database of your content in a different location. So with Amazon, we are quite flexible and secure enough to have the needs of the organizations covered. So that's also something that we can discuss. So that's about the security elements. I think that's quite it. Some small questions we will answer in the email, of course, afterwards. If there are any questions now at the end of this webinar, please feel free to add them to the question and answer overview and to add the questions. So let's wait for a couple of seconds if people want to add some last questions. No questions. Maybe people are typing, we cannot see that.
Yeah. We can't see that, unfortunately, so I don't know if people are frantically typing.
Okay, well, let me finish up then this webinar. Thank you all for joining and attending to this webinar. Like I said in the beginning, this webinar is recorded, so we will send you the link of to the recorded webinar so you can share it with your colleagues. Feel free to contact us through the support portal or your regular channels to reach out to us to ask questions about those modules or other functionalities or questions you have. Magali, thank you very much for the clear explanation of the platform and showing to this group of people what you can do with Milkymap. And thanks again for your time and attending to this webinar, and we hope to see you soon in the future. If you want to use Milkymap or try it with the trial version, if you're not a user yet, please go to the website. On milkymap.com, you'll find a link to create a free trial for 30 days with 10 people. So you can invite 9 of your colleagues to really experience and try out all the functionalities of Milkymap. And we hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.